Election Central, the National Democratic Congress is promising a no-fee stress to all level 100 students in all public universities. This means first-year students of university tuition fee for all students in the public institutions will be instituted. Now, according to the NDC, the policy aims to ease the financial burden on parents and ensure accessible higher education. Now, let's take a listen.
Tertiary students face financial barriers, with over 40% struggling to afford education and accommodation. And as I recently announced during a visit to the University of Ghana, my government will partner with the private sector to demarcate a portion of the vast tracts of land that the universities are holding to construct hostels for students on campus at reasonable rates. And thereby address the accommodation challenges that students are facing. The professional institutions of architects and engineers will be engaged to provide uniform designs for these hostels and a costing of the hostels that will be built on all campuses, and that will be under our program of a bed for all students to be able to stay on campus. We'll also launch the No Fee Stress Initiative, providing fee-paying support to eligible students, especially through the Student Loan Trust Fund.
On education, now let's take a look at the other promises or promise policies of the NDC as it launches its youth manifesto. And the first one, it says that we shall ensure proper infrastructure and sustainable dedicated funding for SHS. We shall decentralize the procurement of food and other supplies through the headmaster and school bursars in order to improve the quality of food. We shall also expand access by building more infrastructure. We have more, says we shall partner with private sector to establish hostels at reasonable rates for students. We shall abolish the double track system. We shall implement the policy we shall implement the policy of continuous recruitment of teachers and nurses, especially for underserved areas. And these are all sections of the manifesto. We shall reintroduce free sanitary pads for female students in senior high schools. Take note of the phrase we shall. So we shall scrap the quota system for admission into nursing and teacher training colleges to expand enrollment. Now, Joseph Donko is a professor at PRO for Ghana National Association of Private Schools, and he joins me via Zoom for a conversation. Joseph, thank you for your time. You're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Joseph, now, so it was actually one of the campaign messages that was thrown out there by His Excellency, the former President, John Dramani Mahama, and yesterday at the launch of the Youth Manifesto, I think it was re-echoed. Does that satisfy your, your quest of inclusion? Does that satisfy your quest?
Exactly so. I mean, about 2 years ago, we engaged him at our conference in Kofredua, and we reiterated the same request that private schools should be included in the free SHS. And we are happy and we welcome this news. Again, at least it's a repeat of what he told us the last time.
How many, institutions do you have captured under the private sector?
Under the private SHS, we have about 300 schools. And I must indicate that some of them have closed down just because of the numbers, enrollment. They are not getting enrollment, so some of them have closed down.
Now, if you can just take us through a few areas that, separates private schools from public schools. What makes you a private school?
I mean, for the private schools, it is managed by an individual, probably sometimes an organization or maybe a religious organization. So these are the managers of the private schools. We have we don't have large numbers of classes. We have lesser classes, and we make sure our core values are looking at quality education. We are not looking at the numbers, but at least those people coming out of our schools get quality education, and when they get to the universities, they are able to perform well. And this is what we are seeking to provide. Now, if I want to touch on the free SHS vis-a-vis the private SHS, you see, there's a lot of congestion in the free SHS in the schools, in the public schools. There's a lot of resource constraints. I was in one of the schools, I think about 3 or 4 days ago. My ward is there. And when I got there, they want to do renovation. But all because of the double track, almost all every within the month, there's something happening there. So it's difficult for them to even do renovation because of this congestion. And that's why we are saying that if we are included in the free SHS, it means that we are going to fill up those going for the double track. The private schools are going to reduce the numbers so that we can all move through the single track system.
You have
capacity.
capacity. That is to say,
offering,
right? That's to say that you have capacity to take the excess from the public schools.
Exactly so. Exactly so. You see, the point is that he can only manage. NDC can only manage the double track when they include the private schools, because we have the capacity to take the excesses from the public schools.
But there's a sharp difference between public schools and private schools, considering how they are run. Private schools normally is for profit making. And if you want to consider taking up excesses from the public schools, it does not necessarily qualify you to benefit from public policies such as free SHS, does it? I mean, is that not an unfair request you're making?
Not at all. We are all training Ghanaian child. Those kids who will be coming to our schools are not born outside Ghana. And we all admit that there are some few challenges with regards to the free SHS. And that's why we are seeing that we are coming in. Now, if you look at the manifesto...
Not to cut you. Not to cut you, just briefly. I mean, if you say that you're all children of the country, I agree. However, there's a reason. That's why I asked you to give me the standards of the private schools. There's a reason they are considered as private schools, and there are reasons why the public schools are considered as public schools. If you want to benefit from public policies such as free SHS, then you would have to change your standards and policies you use in running private school or private sector schools, not so?
Exactly so. So it is known that the religious bodies schools within Ghana are performing far better. I mean, I don't have figures to data to support this. However, it is known. Now, you see, if this is our stand, and the government even said it yesterday. The NDC manifesto stated that yesterday, that they are going to use 7% of the GET fund to support the level 100 students. We are thinking that even if you get 5% of those GET fund to support private schools, so that the congestion in the public schools will reduce, it will help Ghana. And that's why we are advocating for.
So you're ready to stop collecting fees from children?
You see, the point is, if the government is ready to support us, why not? We will not collect school fees from the children. However, it is our stand that in moving forward, the policy should change, that parents who can afford, who have the means to afford, should pay something to support. So that, the issue about food, issue about all these things, resource constraints. And if at least some few parents that are ready to support their wards in school, if they are ready, they should be able to support. So we are looking at the free SH vis-a-vis getting parents to come and support, so that at least we all share the burden together.